Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I didn't bother filming what I did, but I can show you what I did. It would have taken too long for something that's not that important. This manky Vanda that I said I was getting very fed up with the sight of, people seem to be not too keen on me giving up on it and dumping it, I was about to do that, quite honestly. I even found some flipping mealy bugs down in between the gap on one of the leaves this morning when I was deciding whether to dump it or not, and in the end I put it in the bucket and give it a soak. But it has a single root, so it can get a little bit of hydration. Well, unless it grows more roots, it has no hope. It's as simple as that. You know, it's not going to survive growing new leaves on one root. It's just not going to make it. But I can't show you it with one hand. Hang on, let me hang it and see if I can do it. But these leaves will not open because it's just totally dehydrated. But down in here, there is a new leaf. Whether it'll ever grow or not, I don't know, but there is one there waiting to go. So what I've done is I've strapped it to a hook because I've been hanging it upside down by the root because I've gone off caring about it, quite honestly. But I've put a wire on it with a couple of little ties so that I can hang it upright again. And I've just tied some moss round the base. There is what looks like a kiki going to grow at the base. If the plant dies and the kiki grows, what are we looking at? 4 or 5 years before it ever blooms again? But it's not in my way because it's a hanging plant. I have stacks of hanging space, basically. The trouble is, I keep saying that. If I keep using it up, then I won't have. But at the moment, you know, I've got loads of hanging space. I've got a whole wire up there with nothing on it. Well, the plan is to take some pots and put hangers on them. I've got another wire up there that's underutilised. It's got a few air plants on and my Rancostylis. But, you know, there's a gap in the middle. I could get 1 or 2 smallish things up there. The rest of the wire here, you know, that sits there doing nothing. I've got hanging space. There's room for more on these racks if I play, you know, lower some, get some smaller ones above. So hanging space I've got. So I've decided to give this a go by wrapping some moss round the base, and I will keep it wet. And if it's going to shoot roots, it shouldn't be too long, or the base will rot. But basically I will still dunk this in the Vanda bucket on a daily basis. I need to keep that single root permanently hydrated, but it must dry in between, or, you know, potential for rotting. So I'm not giving up on it. I flipping well ought to, really. But I'll let it go for a bit more on the grounds it's not in the way. The same as I did with those 2 rescue Cattleyas. They got thrown on a shelf until they showed signs of growing. And now they're potted up and they are growing. So we'll give this a chance. The only reason it's getting a chance is because it's a species. If that was just a random no ID hybrid, it would have been under the hedge by now. So that's what I've done. Don't hold out a lot of hope. None of the leaves are hydrated, and despite my efforts, they've got no better. I don't think they've got any worse, but they haven't got any better. There is zero progress on this apart from that tiny little kiki. Several people have questioned what are the little bits growing out, like there where my little finger is. That's what remains of the flower spike on this one. When there's a flower spike, it has a little bit of green at the base. There's another, you know, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's going to grow something. It never does. That's just what it looks like. And again in there, just that little bit of green. So nothing's going to ever come of those bits, but that little kiki down near that tie may well grow. If that's all that's left of the plant, it's a long way off flowering, and it'll never look elegant because I'll have to cut the rest of the plant off. But I'll come to that as and when. But at least that kiki wouldn't grow if there wasn't some hydration getting up in the plant, but at the moment nowhere near enough to hydrate those leaves, and I don't know whether they ever will. And if they don't, what a sorry looking plant that's going to be. Even if it started growing now sensibly at the apex and pushed out, started pushing out nice leaves, it's never going to look any good, no matter what. Unless those leaves can rehydrate, or at least some of them. And quite honestly, I don't believe they will. So I still don't hold out a lot of hope. But we'll give it a chance. So, yeah, that's what I've done. Tried several things with this, but it went downhill relatively quickly, and it's never recovered. Personally, I don't believe it ever will. But we'll give it a go, see what happens. See you next time.